and what your sense is of this country that will permit such an outrage.
So I don't think there's ever been a time like this. I think we're very close to being at the end of our country as we knew it, a great country. It's Marxist, it's fascist, it's communist. It's what they're doing is incredible. What they've done with weaponization of DOJ, FBI, and others, all sort of reporting up. If it's a local DA or a attorney general, a state attorney general, I think it's a very dangerous time. The hope is 2024, because if we win, we're going to get that straightened out so fast. Because it's all people. It's the people from the top. It's a very dangerous time for our country. I really believe that. Then we have the wall where millions and millions of people are pouring into our country. We have the most incompetent president we've ever had, has no idea what's going on in the world, has no respect from the world. And numerous countries are coming up with nuclear weapons, which is the real global warming threat. Not the ocean will rise over the next 400 years by an eighth of an inch. And I think the country's in trouble. I think it's the most dangerous time in the history of our country. And a lot of that is weaponization, but a lot of that is nuclear weapons. I think that we were respected with me. We had tremendous control of things. Iran was behaving because they didn't have the money. Now they have tremendous money. I mean, they were broke. Now they have tremendous money. They've gained in the last 3 years hundreds of billions of dollars of wealth. I told China that if you buy, you're not going to do business with the United States. I told India, I told a lot, if you buy, you do no business with the United States. And we were dealing with Iran, and it was fine. It was actually very good. If you remember, there was no money going to Hamas. There was no money going to Hezbollah. There were stories about it because they didn't have any money. Now they have billions and billions of dollars, probably 127 billion, not including the $6 billion that you read about for the hostage swap. Another great deal, $6 billion for the hostages. So I think the country is in the greatest danger it's ever been. And to a large extent, a big portion of that would be because we have a leader that doesn't know what to do.
You know, you say that this president is weak. You say that he is the issue. And so many people in the national left-wing corporate media are talking about why the rest of the world does not respect him. There is no policy that he has offered up that I perceive, at least, as being pro-America. The policies are Marxist in nearly every respect, whether it has to do with the American family, whether it has to do with sovereignty, border security, illegal immigration, foreign policy. You had created a modest foreign policy, bringing home our troops. Withdrawing troops from foreign lands, and about 100 of them, we have troops now. How does that make you feel to see that reversal of your policies that were creating such a great response on the part of the global nations?
So I was bringing them home, but also bringing them home from countries that don't even like us. Right. We're protecting countries that took advantage of us and hate us in many cases. When you look at Afghanistan, the withdrawal, that was a big moment because I believe it was the most incompetent and embarrassing time in the history of our country. The way we withdrew, not the withdrawing, because I was withdrawing too, but we were going to do it with great strength and dignity. I believe that the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the way they did it, leaving $85 billion worth of equipment, $85 billion, think of it, behind. The best equipment in the world, leaving it behind. You know, I don't know if you know this, that the Taliban in Afghanistan now is one of the top 3 traders in military equipment. They're selling, because they don't need 700,000 guns and rifles. They don't need 70,000 vehicles, many of them armor-plated. They don't need tanks and all of the things that we left. We left behind $85 billion worth of equipment, the best military equipment in the world. But most importantly, 13 soldiers dead, 38 soldiers horribly wounded, and hundreds of people killed. And it should have been nothing. And we took the soldiers out. We took our military out before we took our American hostages. You have people over there. You have still hundreds of Americans over there haven't been able to get out. We should have taken everything out, and then you take your money. You could ask a child, when would you take the military out? 5 years old, he'd say, you take the military out last. We took the military out first. So we were going to get out with dignity and strength, and we lost Bagram. Bagram was one of the biggest airfields in the world, and most importantly, not because of Afghanistan, but because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And to have that would have been incredible. I was never leaving there. We were going to keep that. And they fled Bagram. They really surrendered. The whole thing was just like, I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And Putin would have never gone into Ukraine anyway. But when he saw that, he said, this is the time to move because these people are incompetent. And as you know, President Xi's talking about Taiwan and lots of things we're not respected at all. And 3 years ago, we were greatly respected. And 3 years ago, we were energy independent. And you had gasoline selling for less than $2. And now you have it at $5, $6, $7, and even $8 a gallon. And it's what's happened to our country. And truly one of the worst things is when you have millions and millions. I know this, I've been your friend and I've been your watcher. I would watch you all the time, and I still do it whenever I can. But I know you very well. It must just drive you crazy when you see millions of people coming into our country and totally unchecked, from jails, from mental institutions, terrorists. We're going to be paying a big price. We're going to do big deportation, by the way, which will make you feel slightly better. But they're coming in from the prisons all over the world. This isn't just in South America, all over Africa, in the Congo. The other day, people released from prisons in the Congo. In fact, some of these people make our prisoners look like very nice people. We have people in our country now that shouldn't be in our country. Millions of people are walking, just walking through our country. Right now, as we speak, they have the largest caravan of people, a name I came up with. And we stopped the caravans pretty quickly. But they have the largest caravan anyone's seen. And it's pouring in through Mexico, heading up to our country.
10 million, an estimated 10 million illegal immigrants just since Joe Biden took the Oval Office. That is extraordinary by any measure. Yet there is no discussion amongst the business elites, the global business elites, no discussion from social critics in academia, our universities and colleges, nor our trading partners and military allies. It is an extraordinary development that no one could have imagined an American president inviting, which is exactly what this president has done.
He did. Oh, he did. He said, come on. At the beginning. So I said, don't come up because you're not getting through. And people wouldn't come up. They say, and I built a wall. I built 561 miles of wall, which is a big thing. You know, they said, oh, it's 50. Well, it's not 50 by any. But they say, oh, it's 50. Like this dope Chris Christie said, oh, it's 50 miles. No. It's way over 500. It's 561. And we had another 200 ready to go. But the wall was great. And we also had Mexico paying for their soldiers. You know, we had 28,000 Mexican soldiers on our border. And they paid for it free of charge. It was a nice gift. But not easy to get. I had to say things that, you know, you don't want to really say, like we're going to tariff your product if you don't put them there. So we had the best numbers we've ever had. And now we have the worst numbers I think that any country's ever had. I don't think any country's ever had numbers like this. I don't care if it's third world or not. We have the worst numbers we've ever had. 3 years ago, we had the best numbers we've ever had. And that included not only people coming in, it included drugs, human trafficking. We had the best numbers at everything, almost every category that we've ever had. And now we have the worst numbers.
The worst numbers, and the numbers don't even express the dire circumstances that this country faces. Fentanyl, 100,000 deaths a year. Child trafficking. The Health and Human Services can't track over 80,000 children that have crossed that border. China is a partner with Mexico and their drug cartels, and they are responsible for fentanyl and opiates coming from Mexico.
They make most of it.
And this president, on Wednesday, will be talking with Xi Jinping about a new relationship with a power that is expansionary, that is threatening the United States almost every month. Your reaction?
Well, the other thing is, remember that until I get indicted, I've been indicted more than Al Capone over complaining about a rigged election, over things that nobody can even believe. You read even these legal scholars, they can't even believe. So they've weaponized the DOJ. But remember this, Biden got money from China. He got money from Ukraine. They got money from many of these countries. But he got millions of dollars from China. And that's what they found. Now, if they find that, and it seems very conclusive, obviously, but if they find that, how much money didn't they find? Because it's not easy to find. And I think they have him over a barrel, frankly, because nobody can be so weak with China. What they're doing, you know, I took in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars from China, hundreds of billions of dollars. I gave our farmers $28 billion because, excuse me the language, but they were screwed by China for many years. And I went to Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. How much is it? They said $28 billion. I took it out of the tariffs. I gave it to the farmers. But I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No president ever took in 10 cents. It was a one-way deal. And I changed things around a lot. A lot of people think that's why we had the China virus, frankly, because they never had a problem like they did with me. But I don't think so. I think it was gross incompetence at the Wuhan lab. That's what I think. I really don't believe. You know, there are those people that said they would have done anything to get rid of me. I actually had a very good relationship with President Xi, but once the China virus or COVID came along, it was a lot different. But it's so sad to see what's happened to our country in a short period of time. Inflation at a level that we haven't seen in 70 years. You look at what's going on with energy. You look at the lack of respect they have for us. But you just take a look at the lack of respect. The way China talks about our country now, they would never have said that with me. In fact, they had a policy 24 or 25, I guess it was 2025. And I said, you know, I'd appreciate if you take that down because that's very insulting. In other words, that was going to be when they really take over everything economically. You heard that, right? China 2025. And I said,